love is a four-letter word, and when you're playing animal shelter, the pets rely on you to take good care of them. And you start off with dogs and cats in an animal shelter, and then if you buy the optional DLC, you can have horses, and I think there's other animals. You can ride the horses apparently, but it's a casual, inviting game that's easy to get into. You do regular pet maintenance, shampooing them, you cleaning their pet waste, mop floors, so it gives you like a general idea of what it would be like to be running a animal shelter, within reason of course. So you have to feed and groom your pets, to make sure they have enough water, and they all have these different happy stats, like Tamagotchi stats, that rise and fall depending on how well you're doing. And sometimes they totally surprise you. It's like, oh, that guy just happened to randomly drop one, and then you have to rush from the office or wherever or whatever you're doing and just clean up right away, because obviously the animals don't love this very much. So all these set of needs, they fluctuate. You have to monitor them carefully and sort of see what their personal preferences are, because they all have personal preferences on how you take care of them, just like we do. So the funner side, funner not being a word, of running an animal shelter is be able to take your dogs and cats for walks, and you're playing with your kitties with a laser beam, a cat laser. So the game has charming cartoonish graphics. They aren't breathtaking, but you know, they're appealing. I mean, they're easy on the eyes. I'm not expecting a AAA animal shelter game, but it looks good. I would say it's on maybe the same level as Nintendo Dogs, but with higher res. So, yes, you can decorate your shelter as well with ornaments, just to sort of spruce up the place. I didn't really get that far because there's a lot of grinding and adopting the pets just to build up your reputation and your cash flow. And so to unlock everything, I don't know how long it would take. I would assume like 5 to 15 hours. But ultimately, unfortunately, you have to put up an ad and adopt these pets. Now, I don't know how it works with horses. I guess they just come and drive by your ranch, outside your ranch, and pick up the horse somehow. It's a little bit different, obviously, from like cats and dogs, where they can actually go into like a cage or you know, some sort of carry case. But apparently you can adopt a pet yourself, but you can only have one, which it's kind of surprised you can only adopt one. I don't know how that works on impacts the game. I guess it just gives you like a buffer of one pet. So being picky on who you can have adopt your pets is important. It determines your overall score, obviously the fit between the new owner and the pet, and you know, depends on the you know, what outcome, how much money you get paid, I assume, and everything from what I saw. It's a fairly easy game. So each pet does have their quirks, as I touched on before. Some are scared of people, some love to play, others hate loud noises. I had one that was scared of people, and somehow, I don't know if it's because I brushed them or what, somehow I managed to encourage them to be adopted, and it was happily ever after for that pet, fortunately. So you can acquire more items to keep your animals happy. There's, again, as I said, like overall hygiene maintenance. There's toys. I think there was scratching post. There were a few things, sort of what you would expect. I didn't really see any like play balls or any other stuff like that. But you can expand on the shelter, and that's really where this game grows from the basic everyday sort of monotony of cleaning up after the cats, dogs, horses, whatever. You can add a clinic, and if they get sick, you can take care of them inside your clinic. And that seems to be the heart of the game once you go through, as I said, the day-to-day motions of adopting pets and keeping them happy until they get adopted. The game's selling point that makes the daily chores bearable is is really this. It's just like a really simplified version of running an animal shelter. Like, you don't really deal with like huge amounts of money or other costs or angry customers. It's this very simplified version. Fortunately, it's an easy game to unwind to after a hard day. I'll give it that. I was thinking about playing it at the end of the day when I was out and busy. And it's great how the game gradually introduced all these like different things. I feel like if everything was unlocked from the very beginning, this game would not have the same impact. They sort of guide you through gradually. Not all games do that, but this one does. The different things you can do. The game starts off interesting with the basic motions of while taking care of the pets is still novel. And you can upgrade and build your shelter, as I said, but the basic fundamentals of taking care of the animals, it wears off pretty fast. You can upgrade and build on your shelter, but just it feels like you're going through the motions at times, and that's what I started to feel like once after I got like the leash and my laser pointer, and that was all cool, just adopting a pet and going back and then giving away a pet. Like, it sort of feels like you're running back and forth. You're there, you have your customers that are picking up animals, so you rush back to the office because you need to get more animals and adopt more animals into your shelter so that you can give them away to customers. But it sort of feels like you're sort of going back and forth, running back and forth between the office, and you're going to clean up. Cat or dog is unhappy because they made a mess outside of their litter box or just randomly. Yeah, so it's great for the profit when you get these animals adopted. And it's kind of sad. I found it was like kind of sad to give them away, even though they're virtual animals and they don't really have a lot of personality, I feel like, as much as they should. Yeah, it just feels tedious. Like, this game loop feels tedious, unfortunately, after a while for me. Some people loved it. I was shocked. I was like, I swear someone said they spent 30 hours on this game. I don't know, maybe I'm getting mixed up. But yeah, so you often have to pick up the animals, take them to the gate, rush back to the computer inside the office, stock up on supplies. Like, it sort of feels like you're rushing through. Like, you don't really have time to enjoy interacting with the animals, but at the same time, rather, there's not really a lot of interaction, unfortunately, with the animals because you're kind of limited by them being virtual. So while they look cute, their animations are a little bit off and robotic. So the end game of animal shelters, unlock everything, unlock all the extra buildings, which takes time, and you'd have to invest a decent amount of time into it. But you may get bored along the way, like I did, and it goes for $25.99 regular price, which seemed fair. It just feels like a solid $10 game to me at most. Just has so much promise at the beginning, and then you realize like the full experience, like there's not as much substance, I guess, as you initially feel at the beginning. So it feels mediocre once you've done most of the chores, which is a shame because I'd say this is easily the best shelter simulator I've played and one of the better simulators. It's not perfect, but at least it's entertaining, and I feel like some of the simulators, they miss the whole point of the simulator. It's supposed to be fun, you're supposed to simulate it, but at the same time you're supposed to have fun, so they have to have a balance between the two. So I would say it's a solid 5 out of 10 for people who like simulators. It's not horrible, but like it loses its momentum from the beginning. If you really like animals, maybe a 6.5 out of 10 if you love animals. It gives people of all ages, that's the selling point. It gives people of all ages the chance and an idea of what it's like to run an animal shelter. It just still feels like a barely accepted chore in your day or week. Rather than a joyful experience full of providing love and affection to pets and animals of all shapes and sizes. So with that, maybe check it out before you buy, because it's kind of almost borderline after that initial novelty. So go and give your pets pets. Keep on gaming. Bye.